Hello, viewers. I welcome you to another episode of Easy Learning with the amazing instructor. Today, we are going to consider the English Concord with and. Let's start with this. What is Concord? Concord means agreement. That is, agreement between the subject and the verb. How the verb agrees with the subject. And most times, under the use of and, the first thing that comes to our mind that when two subjects are joined together with and, it's such subject must be followed by a plural verb, but it's not in all cases. There are cases where two subjects are joined together with and yet followed by singular verbs. Now, for the simplicity of this class, we are going to limit our verbs usage to auxiliary verbs, specifically primary auxiliary verbs. Now, the is, which is the singular, and are, which is the plural. The past tense of is was, and the past tense of are is were. Now, for us to understand this topic clearly, there are two basic factors that must be considered. These two factors determine the agreement of verbs with the subject as long as and is used. That is, the two factors determine verbs agreement with and. Now, the first factor is the single entity factor, and the second factor is the double entity factor. These two factors will be considered under the following questions. Question number one, bread and butter. Blank my favorite breakfast. Is or her? Which one are we going to choose? Now, bread and butter here is seen as a single entity because these food items go together. They are taken together, they are eaten together. So we consider them as singular. So bread and butter is my favorite breakfast. Now, there are some other food items we can also reconsider, such as yam and egg. These food items go together. Bread and tea is my favorite breakfast. Yam and egg is my favorite breakfast. Rice and beans is my favorite breakfast. Apart from food items, we can also consider some other television shows such as Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is my favorite cartoon show. You know, Tom and Jerry, the two entities are not seen as separate entities, but are seen in a singular form. So we can say Tom and Jerry is my favorite cartoon show, not Tom and Jerry are my favorite cartoon show. Romeo and Juliet is a play written by William Shakespeare. Now, that's the author. The author of Romeo and Juliet is William Shakespeare. So, Romeo and Juliet is a title given to a particular book. So, it is seen as a single entity, not double entity. So, since it is seen as a single entity, it is followed by a singular verb. So, we come back to our question bread and butter, single entity. They are taken together. Bread and butter is my favorite breakfast, singular. Now, question two says, James and John blank playing football. Now, James is different from John. They are different entities. They are not together. So we are referring to two people here. So James and John, which must be followed by a plural verb, which is a plural verb there is what? Her. Now, question number three, the principal and the supervisor. Take note of the determinant, the definite article there before principal and there before supervisor, because we are still going to compare that with question four. The principal and the supervisor, blank attending the meeting. Is it going to be is attending the meeting or attending the meeting? Now, the principal is not the supervisor here. They are separate entities. It is considered as a double entity factor. So since they are separate entities, we are going to use a plural verb. So which is her. The principal and the supervisor are attending the meeting. Now, the last question, the principal and supervisor blank attending the meeting. Here, you observe the absence of Article D before supervisor, but we can have Article D before principal. So now in a sentence like this, it is seen as a single entity. The implication is this, that the principal is also the supervisor. Now, as a result of the absence of the definite article there before supervisor, so it is seen as a single entity which must be followed by a singular verb. So the principal and supervisor is attending the meeting, not are attending the meeting. I believe you have learned something today. Now, for evaluation sake, I'm going to ask you this question and you're going to drop your answer at the comment section. The poet and novelist blank invited to speak. The poet and novelist blank invited to speak. Option A was. Option B were. Try to drop your answer at the comment section. Provided you have questions, feel free to ask me questions and do not forget to follow my channels. Till we meet in our next episode, I remain the amazing instructor. Bye.